today, Mr. Matthias Schaefer, who can explain us briefly, it's difficult, briefly what's the secret behind German economic success of German economic model and why Georgia, what Georgia can take from Germany, and why Germany has managed to recover so well from the World War II and to become, we are happy to witness it, to become the driver of European economy.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thanks a lot. Dear Mrs. Kadagidze, Nino in German is a male, my name. I tend to say Nina, but it's Nino. Thanks for the invitation. Thanks as well to my highly estimated colleague Jana Hatigan, which is running the office here in Georgia and the southern Caucasian region. Well, actually, what I prepared is, on the one hand, a short and speed-dated interpretation of social market economy. What do we think when we speak about it? Where does it come from? What are the crucial stakes? What is the difference to a market economy, perhaps, as well? Something quite. Try to make it easy, try to reduce this complexity. Coming back to the idea, what could Georgia learn? As Janan already mentioned, perhaps it's not our job to give concrete recommendations, but in the second part of my intervention, I would just take some space for reflecting on the things I heard from both sides of you, Mr. Chairman, and we could, via this, get into a debate upon the challenges. So let me start with the social market economy as what German experience on this issue. Perhaps it's easy to start with the fact that social market economy, a notion that is not, you cannot find it in German documents. For interest, you can find it in the Lisbon Treaty. You can find it as well in the treaty, in a German document, in the treaty between the former Federal Republic of Germany and the GDR, when they had the reunification. They called out that actually the new model of the unified Germany would be this social market economy. What I want to say here is social market economy is not something you can find in the books and you achieve it and then it's the end of history. But actually the first take is, as economies can do better or worse, you have to be prepared from a political and as well from a societal point of view in ongoing reforming your model. It's not ended and you're finished it. And this is as well, this is a crucial point. Have a look at a very popular example. I always like the examples taken from football. You can become world champion in 2014, then you try to qualify for the European tournament and you have to meet Georgia in the qualifiers. And then you see actually that it's not something which is going on by normal development, that you have to work hard. And so even when you are on the top, you have to work hard and you have to improve your system as well when you have to be, you are the laggard or you are the red light of a bench. And remembering, you said Germany now is the most powerful economic machine of the European Union. 10 years ago from now, in 2005, when Chancellor Merkel started its government, we were the sick man of Europe, and no one did take a look at our model, the social market economy. When we tried to sell it in the world, people confronted us with the fact, saying, look, we prefer to have a look at the United States model as more or less capitalistic system, and we don't want to have anything in common with the social market economy because you do not perform. So what that means as well, that you can and you have to reform and perform within your model. And one crucial first point of what is behind social market economy is this experience that there are some models that fail. What failed? In our experience in Germany, on the one hand, laissez-faire liberalism, let me call it turbo-capitalism, markets without regulations, without, or with small institutions, they deeply failed. In Germany, before World War II, we made this experience of hyperinflation. So your inflation with the lari from nowadays is nothing compared to what we experienced in Germany in the last century on this. On the other hand, we had this Great Depression, Black Friday, the crack of the bars in the US coming to Europe as well, having this, giving the impression actually, or the experience that capitalistic market systems can fail and can, when there are no institutions, no public institutions that are designed to react on this failure, on this shrinking, this upswing, this poverty, this unemployment which is occurring on markets, then you can get in a deeply bad situation, which, as special German experience, directly led to the Nazi regime, because social imbalances leaded to political radicalism in Germany, and then we had this disastrous experience of 12 years of Nazi regime. So one key issue is a laissez-faire liberalism will fail to prevent a stable economic model. On the other hand, we as well know that socialistic models fail. I mean, you know this better than we. We got this anti-role model in the former GDR, the socialistic part of Germany, for 40 years, and we had always this competition between two systems. It was more easy to see what can go better and worse when you have a neighbor which has a completely different idea. So you can always contrast on his point of view. Now we lack of these alternatives, and this makes us perhaps a little bit more selfish about our own model. So we knew as well, socialism is not an answer. This as well will fail because there is a scarcity of goods, a lack of personal responsibility, it's stagnation, it's bureaucratic overload, inflexibility. All the things we did realize when taking into account socialistic approaches. So social market economy in the way occurred in a situation where, on the one hand, laissez-faire liberalism, on the other hand, socialistic approaches did fail. And the question was, how can we, in a way, tear the right lessons out of this? And there are two things I would like to underline, because often, especially in pre-socialistic states, we often see a direct link between social market economy and socialistic market economy. This is not the case. Our first lesson is socialism will always fail, full stop. Nothing more with this experience. But the second lesson is capitalism can fail, but capitalism is curable. You can design, you can work on institutions that give a framework to a market capitalistic system that will help to create a better, a more inclusive economic order. And this is the key driver of the social market economy. The main lessons to cure the capitalism were two drawn out of this experience. On the one hand, we have this, let me call it Keynesian thinking, saying in times of markets going down, I just take money, I fulfill monetary policy or fiscal policy to actually replace private demand, and then I will stabilize my economy. This is not the thinking of the social market economy. Their thinking is an ordo-liberal thinking, and ordo means having a look not on the intervention of the state into the markets, but on the framework in which the market will work. This is the idea that we have a stabilization which does not require a direct discretionary market interference of the state, but there is an automatic stabilization. In the moment you are employed, you pay contributions to the unemployment insurance. In the moment you get unemployed, you lose your job because there is a problem for your corporate, for your company, then you fall into this unemployment insurance scheme. You get transfers from the agency, as well that you get help in education and vocational training to find a new job. So this system works quite automatically. It doesn't need a concrete state interference into the markets. And this is more or less the idea of social market economy thinking. The state is not the one who has to interfere in terms of providing people with goods, but it's the one who is in the football game, the referee, not the playmaker. He is the one who is thinking about the rules, and he has as well the instruments to keep the rules. And when the players, the marketeers, the corporates, the consumers abuse rules, he has yellow and red cards actually to penalize this behavior, with the idea that people get back on the pitch and play the game, the market game, following the rules. And rules are nothing else than the codes we accept, as either via our governmental idea or via our democratic decision. All 4 or 5 years say we think that the rules given to our economy from the parliament, the government are okay or are not, and so we link democratic movement to economic stability. So how to we could touch many points of this framework that creates this order to stabilize the market economy. The primacy of stable value of money. I mean, we have the central bank here. Why is currency policy so deeply important for a good performing economy? It's the fact that it keeps trust within the economy. It keeps trust for investors, it keeps trust for consumers, it keeps as well trust for people which touch a small income, because technically inflation helps them to keep their purchasing powers. We need open markets, we need private properties, freedom of contract, liability, steadiness of economic policy. But this is all you can find as well in a market economy. So the last point of my presentation would be, so what is the difference between this idea of market economy and the social market economy? And there I would just underline one crucial point, saying that we debate about, Mrs. Minister, Deputy Minister, debated about reforming Georgian economy. And this is within this market economy order. But the crucial question from my point of view would be how to improve the institutions surrounding the market economy that create markets. Markets don't fall from the sky. Markets are created by people that do regulations, that give laws and have an influence on how markets work. And so the crucial point is which institutions for our market economy work and which do not. And we should keep an eye on reforming our institutions. They matter for a workable market economy. And all these institutions, we already addressed the question, what could now Georgia find as competitive advantage within bringing more, for example, foreign investment into the debate? I think the crucial point, the distinction between market economy and social market economy would be the idea behind why do you have these economic reforms? What is your Georgian way you would like to follow? What is the philosophical idea of your inspiration for your economy? What is how well it is your competitive order? How well it is the idea of balancing out the powers of markets and the social balance within all these fruits of the markets? How can a huge part of the society profit from the markets? These are the questions which do not in the way touch the core of a market system, but actually do touch the idea of the social, political fundament within we just implement our market system. And therefore this tradition of social market economy can give some hints. And we should, in our debate, focus on the fact of how will we reform institutions, Georgian institutions, that give more structure and better governance to the economy and the economic model. And now I come to my end in having some reflections on your point. Giorgi, you said, and I heard it for 36 hours I'm now in Georgia. It's my first time. And in each debate we needed, this association agreement played a crucial role. Everything started with this. Either I speak with Georgian people, or I spoke with think tanks from abroad. Everyone just spoke about, or everyone started speaking about this association agreement. So my question would be, aren't you, in a way, prisoners of this association agreement? And wouldn't it be a better idea to rethink what is our Georgian take on that? And we think about reforming our model and taking away all these requirements of this association agreement and started on our own debate on why do we want to be a member of the European Union and what are we prepared to do? My impression, I can be wrong, my impression is that everything is linked to Brussels wants us to do this, and we think that we are so special that we cannot, in some parts you are, I agree with that, but I miss, in a way, this internal reflection of what is the Georgian economic answer we bring to the world that distinguishes us from others. Because from my point of view, all you take into account in reforming your economy, I completely underline this. I come doing business, fostering small and mid-sized enterprises, decentralizing of infrastructure, bringing to the regions. All the things are completely okay. But I can hear it as well in Lebanon economy, in Tunisian economy. So this is a normal way of countries develop their economies. And I think we should take a look at what is the special Georgian added value to the global economy in which we all are working. The second point is education. In Germany, 10 years ago, we always went abroad with our vocational training system. You know, this education of the young people which do not go to university because they just followed or they just finished a medium degree at school. And everyone said, you are on the wrong path. We all want more people in universities. We have more degrees on this level. Nowadays, we see actually in the Euro crisis, in Spain, in Italy, in Portugal, they have all better numbers in having young people leaving university compared to the level of education German youth has. Nevertheless, what we work out better in Germany with our model is that we bring young people into an education system that helps them to create capacities that help on the market, and not only in theory on university and writing papers. So my question would be, is it really the best strategy, or what is behind your idea of improving education? Is it just to lift it to the tertiary education, or is there something in between that helps young people to find a way into the labor market? This was my second task. Then I heard about we have to develop the private sector, and you mentioned many reforms. As I said, I think it's absolutely underlinable, but to me, more crucial would be as well rethinking about public sector development, not only private sector economy. How to implement better governance within the government, that you can create these institutions that are able to, in a way, reflect with the private sector. And how is this done? Reforming economic policy means reforming the public sector institutions that guideline the economic process. This is a part of rules and regulations. This is as well a capacity of agencies, bodies, bureaucracies, people that work in the government. And this is, from my point of view, as important as having good doing business reforms for the private sector. It's completely okay to underline and to underpin the capacity of small and mid-sized enterprises to do business, but as well it's interesting to create this trust between private sector and public sector within having these institutions that are essential for a social market economy. You can go on with a market economy, no problem, but from my point of view, to end with more inclusive with more social balance, growth, GDP per capita growth, and all these things that we enjoy from capitalism, we always need to foster on these and to strive these institutional arrangements of the market economy. So thanks a lot that I could get the chance to reflect as well on your debates, and hopefully we can go on with the debate. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I think very interesting what you said. Before we switch to Q&A, I think it's important to comment on your remark regarding the education system. I think we need to understand that we are still in post-Soviet period, 25 years in past, and we have a big part of our population still, which was born in the Soviet Union, got education in the Soviet Union, worked in the Soviet Union, and had habits. We are suffering from it. The population, part of this population has inadequate education, are not competitive. They are depressed. We are seeing that they feel that they are not realized. We need to understand that this is one of the biggest problems. We also have seen that governments were trying to address this issue by offering them vocational training to try to train them in the new occupation. That's work as efficient as we'd like to see. But this is one of the challenges. We have a big part of our population not competitive and not contributing to our Georgian economy. Another issue we have is still, I think, is a post-Soviet mentality that's unfortunately the young generation, part of a big part of the young generation is trying to get a diploma. It doesn't matter what diploma it is, what color, anything, to have a diploma and not trying to get education which they can apply the next day with